You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, episode 138 of the College Loop Podcast. I'm Dylan Larck at Tank on Twitter/X, and I'm here joined by Mr. Harrison Tarr and Colin Beyersdorf. Colin, it's been a minute. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Traveled home today, so we're back in Huntsville, but we're living it up.
And Tarr, how you doing?
I'm here. I'm ready to talk. Let's go.
All right. Well, since the last time we have had an episode, Auburn has had one more player enter the portal in tight end Tyler Fromm. On the year from last year, he had 3 catches for 21 yards. And just to add to the streak going on, that means Auburn has lost the production of 4 pass catchers that all totaled 12 catches for 165 yards.
Yeah, I mean, this guy had the most underwhelming career at Auburn that we could have expected. Former 4-star, if I'm not mistaken, out of high school, out of Warner Robins High School, and did a whole lot of nothing. Some good run blocking, some good pass blocking. I think I saw he had like 14 receptions on his entire Auburn career on something like 19 targets. Like, I mean, good luck. I mean, I'm not hating. It's just to appreciate everything you did, but like, no one's missing this production. And respectfully, you're always just kind of going to be Jake Fromm's little brother. So like, I'm not hating. Like I said, like Tyler Fromm got a great build. Maybe somewhere we'll be able to kind of convert him into a possession wide receiver. It wasn't going to be Auburn. And he's been through 3 head coaches. I mean, Purdue just got dealt a bad hand. So
he does have a good highlight reel of one play of the Bo Nix scramble drill against LSU in 2021, where Bo Nix just ran 40 yards and then ran 40 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then found an open Tyler Fromm in the end zone to get Auburn on the board for the first time. And that was not the last time that game that Bo Nix had to run 100 yards in the backfield either.
Yeah, which is like a really cool highlight to have, and I'm really happy for him because that was a big turning point. But like, if you would have, even then, like if you read off that group of pass catchers that Bo Nix had, you would have been like, and I told you to choose which one you thought received that clutch touchdown. Tyler Fromm would have quite literally been your last guess, unless I specifically told you the package of guys on the field, and then eliminated 2 pass catcher eligible receivers. You would have, yeah. You would still not been your first guess. But I mean, like I said, great frame, good blocker in terms of run and pass block. I mean, like actually blocking wise, I think he grades out pretty well. So we'll see where he winds up. I feel like a Big Ten calling could be. I think he's a P5 player. I just don't know that he's possession first. So best of luck, Tyler Fromm.
I feel like he always did what he was asked of, and it was more of a problem of what we were asking.
Or not knowing, or coaching staffs not knowing what to ask.
I mean, it took a while for Auburn to even have a coach who understood how to use tight ends properly. And it does seem like Valdo's staying, Luke Deal's staying for another year, Michael Riley-Ducker. I'm blanking on everybody. We got Martavis Collins coming in next year. And who am I? I'm forgetting someone. Brandon Frazier, I think, is also coming back for another year. So Auburn's still.
How old is Luke Deal? Like 35?
He's working on his second doctorate. So, Dr. Deal.
He's been around for Luke Deal's been around, I feel like, forever.
He came in the same year as Fromm.
2019 is when they came in. Then the Bo Nix year.
Forever. Yeah.
So you got one more year of eligibility, stay in for another year. Probably going to be another captain. Him, Valdo, MRD, Brendan Frazier, and then walks Martavis Collins into this from this cycle coming in.
Sure.
But I got to say, out of the 7 players lost, none of them have been like huge like losses to the team. And none of them are pieces that I could see benefiting Auburn in the long run.
Right.
So wish them all the best of luck. And with that, we are going to move on to our next segment, keeping it in the transfer portal realm. But since the season has the regular season has officially ended. We're getting very close to the Music City Bowl here in just as this comes out 23 days in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. We are going to go through the class of 2023 transfer portal class, and we are going to play a little game of hit, miss, or meh on the 18 players that Hugh Freeze signed in his first ever transfer portal class. I have taken off Dylan Cinda because he came in a little too late for me to account for him because he came in like August or July, like late July, so didn't really have a chance to compete for anything, so didn't really see him a lot. And also took off DeMario Tolan because he
Sure. Yeah.
had issues.
Not the way.
Well, not issues with him, but he just had something going on. But to start off with, I'm going based on how they were ranked by 24/7 Sports. So don't expect like the quarterback to be the first one named. Starting off, we're going to start off with the center, Avery Jones.
Meh. Meh.
Colin?
I think I'm gonna say hit. I feel like he didn't play center, but he had a lot of time starting on that O line, and that was one of our biggest flaws the previous year. And so just bringing him in and getting to improve our production on that offensive line, I feel like was important.
And I'm also going to go hit as well. I think out of the O linemen that came in, I think Avery Jones was probably the best offensive lineman that came out of the portal. Definitely was very consistent. Sadly, he got hurt, but that did lead to Connor Liu absolutely tearing it up as a true freshman in his debut season. Next up, staying with the offensive line, Dylan Wade.
Meh.
Yeah, meh for me there too.
Yeah, that's going to be a triple meh. Definitely a guy who got penalized, if not the first or the second, definitely the third most on this offense. Could not stop holding. Next up, the nose tackle, Justin Rogers out of Kentucky.
How many times can I say meh?
Yeah, I'm gonna add a meh there as well.
Also gonna be another meh. Tarr, you are on path right now to have 18 mehs.
You're on fire.
All right, here's one that's gonna require probably a little bit of thought process. Brian Battie.
Miss. Let me tell you why. Brian Battie is not as advertised. It doesn't mean that I don't think that he can be that level of an All-American in the return game, in the run game, and he had a lot of not a lot, but a handful of glimpses of what he really could be. I don't know if it's that he just wasn't schematically fit in on the level that we thought he might be. I'm telling you right now, I think his decision making on kick returns is piss poor. I think it's awful. And I don't know how the hell we went all season without mentioning that he's taking kicks back that are 9 yards into the end zone. That's an exaggeration, but there's 7 yards into the end zone. He is taking that out. I don't know that he's as advertised. He had a couple of good moves here and there, a couple of good plays out of the backfield. But for what we wanted him to be, I think he wasn't. So I'm going miss. That being said, I will be high on him again next year. And I will be 100% excited to see him another year underneath Cadillac and Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a meh here. I do agree with a lot of the points you said, especially him taking kicks from like 9 yards deep. Because you're saying 9 yards deep, I don't even think that's an exaggeration. I think he has done that.
Oh, I know for a fact it's not. That is not an exaggeration.
I think he had a couple in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, that's the ones that come to my mind, just off the bat. But I do think that he was a good role player. Like he's not going to be our feature back. But when we saw Damari go down, I felt like he kind of filled that RB2 role pretty well, and he could bring in some explosiveness every once in a while with the big plays getting outside. Yeah.
I'm actually going to say I'm going to go with Tarr here too as a miss. Didn't really get the production in the return game that we were expecting to see from All-American. When he was in as the back, he didn't really have an identity. He wasn't a speed back. He wasn't a receiving back. He wasn't a scat back. He wasn't a power back. He wasn't an anything back whenever he was in. He was just kind of a running back. Never did really anything special. On the season, he only had one total touchdown through, receiving, rushing, and returning. And that was just a rushing touchdown that I think was a goal line touchdown, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, against Archie.
Yeah. So didn't really do anything special, and averaged 4.5 yards a carry. I'm gonna go with the miss just because we didn't really get the speed back I was expecting, or like I feel like most people were expecting to see from Brian Battie. And kicking it back to the offensive line, Gunnar Britton.
Miss. I really don't think I need to. I know that he wound up being on, what was he, second team All SEC?
The AAP, All SEC, yeah.
Whatever the hell. Miss. Gunnar Britton, we thought he could play football with big boys on a routine basis. And I think he's a good prospect. We talked about it on the CSS show, Dylan. He is hold happy. He is false start happy. He is a penalty magnet. And I just didn't think he was all that good in the Southeastern Conference. I'm going to miss.
Yeah, I'm a stick with Matt here. I think it's like my 6th or 7th Matt in a row. Like you said, retweet everything you said. He was just a penalty machine. But I think there is room there to improve going forward.
Sad this is his last year of eligibility.
Well, never mind then.
Yeah, there's no room for that to improve
Nope.
in the league.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with a meh here. It kind of gets raised up by the fact the AP apparently saw something we didn't. Whenever he was on, he was on. He was a good offensive lineman whenever he wanted to be. Penalties take a toll on that tremendously, but I don't think sack wise, I cannot think of a lot of times where he broke down in pass protection. So for that, I'm gonna give him a meh, but because the penalties weigh him down a heck of a lot. And to put it in a more positive spin, now we're going to go to the tight end room with Rivaldo Fairweather.
Hit. I don't need to say anything.
I don't know. I felt like I expected just a lot more from him coming into the season, and he was one of our main pass catchers. But just on this offense, I don't know if that's something to be super proud of. I'm gonna go meh. I feel like I just expected a lot more out of him.
As watching the guy who led the team in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, I'm going to give Valdo a huge hit here. I think out of all the people we're about to go through, I think he was probably if not the best, the second best transport acquisition Auburn made in the offseason. I think he added a lot to the offense, and I think he's going to next year as well. Valdo also A+ name as well. Next, keeping it in pass catching, Jair Shorter.
Miss.
I don't.
Miss.
Yeah, it's going to be a strike 3, and Jair is out of here. Got one catch all year for 10 yards. So the average yards per catch looks good, but that's about as far as that stat line goes. And then kicking it to another receiver, Shane Hooks.
Miss. Hey, he was on my marketing project though, so shout out him in that regard.
Did he also just not show up in scenarios for that as well?
He talked about Taylor Swift, so
okay.
That was it.
That's going to be a triple miss for Shane Hooks. 9 catches for a guy who is supposed to be the guy for this offense. This one I feel is going to be interesting.
Miss. It's a miss. It's a huge miss. I know exactly where you're going. I have the same damn list in front of me. This one's a miss, and don't even go a different direction.
Caleb Burton?
Yes, miss.
Miss.
Caleb Burton might have been the biggest letdown of this transfer cycle.
I'm gonna give Caleb a meh because he was a guy we were not expecting to play. We never expected him to play when he got here. I fully expected him to be a.
I've not seen a route runner that bad.
He definitely had a bad. He had a bad. What game? The New Mexico State
Season?
game where he was like drawing. Well, he was fourth on the team in receiving yards.
Once again, that just does not mean much on this team.
Yeah, it doesn't mean much on this team. Also, but also at the same time, he's a not borderline horrendous. I think he's got all the upside in the world. I want to be that clear. I got all the upside in the world. But if you want to talk about an instant impact, one of the worst route runners I've ever seen.
I can agree
I
to
played
that.
with my family in the Turkey Bowl over here. That's horrid.
I'm just saying, whenever we got picked up, we said on the show we did not expect him to be an instant impact player. We expected him to be a guy is gonna play when he can, and he's gonna take a year or so to develop into a good wide receiver. So that's why he's gonna get a meh for me, because he didn't do anything special, but he also didn't do anything that I didn't expect to see from a guy who didn't get a lot of playing time. And then this one's kind of tough. Messiah Nasili Kite.
Meh.
I'm gonna go hit because I did not expect him to play in the slightest. And I felt like when he was on the field, it wasn't the best performance, but he was more than as advertised for me.
Yeah, there were a lot of times where I saw him play and he made impacts that didn't result in him getting tackles. But overall, he didn't really do much. I'm just looking at the stat sheet here. He didn't really do much to impact the game, getting tackles, TFLs, pressures, and sacks or anything like that whenever he was healthy. And sadly, it just kind of ended a little too early for him in the season for him to really prove against that. So I'm going to give him a meh here. And go back to the pass catchers. I'm going to go ahead and assume this one's going to be a triple miss again.
This one is actually probably your biggest letdown of the year. This Nick Marner's a huge miss all the way around.
Yeah, Nick Marner. Yeah, that might be the miss of the offseason.
Respectfully, I've had some horrendous takes on the show. This might have been Daniel Locke's worst take.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, he's not dead. He's just not here anymore.
But yeah, 0 catches on the year for Nick Marner. Very rarely saw him on the field. He did start off the season healthy, but whenever he did get healthy, he still was not on the field. And you expect a little bit more from a guy who is 6'6" and could run a little faster than people his size could. Definitely probably the letdown of the transfer portal class. Up next, guy from Vanderbilt, Elijah, the Doctor McAllister.
Hit. I thought he did everything you asked him to do.
Hit. He did everything you asked him to, and he was an awesome leader on this team.
Yep.
Hit. Retweet everything y'all just said. And it's hard not to love a guy who transferred from Vanderbilt to come to Auburn to get his doctorate education. So, all-around guy, all-around player, a huge hit from the transfer portal class. And sticking with the defense, Austin Keys, linebacker from Ole Miss.
Meh.
I'm gonna go meh. I kind of want to say hit. I felt like
I'm in that camp.
Yeah, I felt like he had a very good impact on the defense. Saw a lot of playing time, something we didn't really expect going into the season.
Hurt a lot though.
He was hurt a lot, and that's what's keeping him at meh.
Yeah, definitely a fringe hit, but I'm gonna give him a meh again. The health issues kind of came up and bit him, but whenever he was healthy, he came out and he played, and he was one of the best linebackers on the team, right up there with Eugene Asante. All right, and up next, sticking with the linebackers, Larry Nixon III.
I'm actually going to say hit, but once again, just because you did what you asked him to do. Like you didn't bring in a superstar linebacker in this class. I mean, you thought you did, and then things happened with personal matters with Mario Tolan. I thought Larry Nixon did fine, like as a complimentary back, the complimentary backer rather. Yeah, I mean, nothing that'll knock your socks off, but I thought he was sufficient.
Yeah, hit. He held his own in SEC play, and that's what you really have to ask for.
Yeah, triple hit here. Second on the team in tackles. Whenever they used him properly, you saw exactly what he was brought here to do, which was fill the gap, stop the run, and he was able to do that. But I don't know if he's any eligibility left, but if he does, let's try not to put him in pass coverage, please. That's all I got. All I got to say on that matter. And now to the defensive line, Lawrence Johnson from Purdue.
Miss.
Miss.
It's gonna be another miss. He got a sack on the year, which is a positive, but didn't really do much else. Never really saw very much playing time. Never really made an impact when he did get in. Just kind of a guy you kind of just forgot about. Do what?
Forgot existed.
Yeah. Now, Peyton Thorne.
All right, everybody on the count of 3 at the same time. 1, 2, 3, hit.
Meh.
That sounds 2 mez and a hit from Harrison Tarr.
I'm not saying he's a superstar. I think he played better. Well, he certainly played better down the stretch. Back half of the season, but in large, Peyton Thorne did not lose you a football game. He didn't win you one, but like he didn't lose you a football game. I think that was the kind of like status quo that we were looking for when we were talking preseason. Would it be Thorne or Ashford? About your ceiling being not as high with Thorne as it is with Ashford, but floor being much higher than that with Robbie Ashford. I think that's what you experienced. He didn't go out and win you one of those games, but he didn't go out and lose you one of those games. I thought he did fine. He's got Auburn back in a bowl game. Folks, as it sits right now, he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Auburn Tigers next year, especially if Auburn doesn't get things moving and shaking in the portal. That's just a little jab at the fact that I'm a little bit concerned at a couple of people that I think Auburn's going to miss out on if they don't move. But I think he's fine. Meh would be this guy stink, like kind of borderline stunk. I think Peyton Thorne was an average quarterback in the SEC this year. His numbers may not always reflect that, but I thought he was an average quarterback, and I think an average quarterback in the Southeastern Conference is a success. I don't know that Auburn had a tremendously high, amount more success with another guy that started in the SEC this year. I don't know that there's a ton of playmakers that would have changed things outside of your Jalen Milrose. And actually, that's your Graham Mertz. I think he's a difference maker. That's up for subject to debate, whatever. There's not a whole lot of those in the conference, really. Right now, there's not. Jaden Daniels obviously is the outlier there, but I don't know. I thought he was fine, and I think that Meh is a little bit of a disservice, but I respect y'all's opinions, and the next one's going to be a certain miss all the way around. So go ahead, Nolan.
Oh, I was just going to say, it was hard for me to find a game where Peyton Thorne was the best quarterback on the field at any given time. Outside of like the games where you played the backups like Mississippi State, very few times was he the best quarterback on the field in the SEC.
Okay. I'd say he's the best quarterback on the field in Nashville.
Against Talia?
I'm sorry?
Vandy.
You mean Vandy?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the bowl game. I was like, I think I would take Talia.
No, I was saying and against Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
In the game,
saying, Ken Seals was slinging that rock. If I'm not mistaken.
It doesn't matter if you're.
He was not. Never mind.
Your pass catchers get broken up more than Peyton Thorne's pass catchers get broken up. Arkansas, he was the best quarterback in the field.
Yeah, I heard that.
All the disrespect intended there for KJ Jefferson because that was horrendous. I don't know. I thought I don't know if there's ever been a wide margin.
He never did anything like spectacular. He never did anything. He did do some things that were awful, but never did anything that put him over like the average mark to me.
Peyton Thorne's going to go down as one of the most forgettable quarterbacks in Auburn history. That's fine.
And he does have an offseason to prove otherwise if Auburn does not get a transport quarterback. I'm hearing word that Grayson McCall, people are predicting him to go to UCF.
He's taking OVS to UCF or NC State, which feels like a disservice to him.
Yeah, I would absolutely hate that if he went to UCF. And then the next to last player on this list is Jaden Muskrat. And Tarr, I believe you hit that on the head already. Miss for Muskrat.
Yes, all the way around. Right, Colin? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's a miss.
It's supposed
cool
to be
name. Made the all-name list preseason, didn't he?
They did.
Yeah, he did. I had a funny graphic of him with a muskrat next to him. That was the highlight of his year at Auburn. And then last player on the list, somehow the lowest ranked player by 24/7 in our transporter class, Jalen McLeod.
I like ending on a hit.
Hit. Yeah, for sure.
That guy's good. He's a ball player.
I am so glad that he is not out of eligibility quite yet, because he is a stud. That is a hit. I don't think he didn't play that many games, and he finished third on the team in tackles.
Yeah, he's a ball player. I mean, what else do we need to say there, right? Like, he's just he's a nice, pleasant surprise, and I guess pleasant emergence in that transfer class.
Yeah, second on the team in tackles, second on the team in sacks. Had a forced fumble recovery and a pass deflection from the App State transfer. Just probably, if I were to say who the best transfer pickup was on this list, it'd be between Valdo and McLeod. And I'd probably lean a little bit towards McLeod in that matter. I don't know who ranked him that low, but dude is an absolute stud of an edge rusher. And speaking of studs, if you have been hearing word on Twitter, Coach Hugh Freeze took a little in-house visit to 5-star safety KJ Bolden. I believe he has a visit to Auburn coming up, and then he has another visit to Florida State.
He's already taken his OV at both of those places, so he's just going to take.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
We actually talked about that on the Tuesday show.
That's right. I remember that now. Yeah, KJ Bolden just yesterday, as the show comes out, I had a nice in-house visit with Coach Freeze, and rumors are swirling that KJ Bolden is a potential likely flip. I don't think it's like that wide of a margin between him and between Auburn and Florida State, but people are leaning a little bit towards Auburn, which, again, if Auburn were to pick up KJ Bolden, the class would skyrocket from 11 in the country to 5th in just one offseason, and that would put Auburn right behind Georgia, Ohio State. Actually, if Florida State lost KJ Bolden,
Auburn would quite possibly jump Florida State.
Because Florida State's right now at 3.
No, never mind. I lied.
Well, I don't know how far they would drop losing like the top safety, because they have 15 4-stars. That kind of probably helps a lot too. So you'd be behind Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, potentially Florida State, and then right there in front of Miami. And don't forget, if Auburn were to get LJ McCray too, another high ranked player that Auburn is always in the mix for after Florida fired their defensive line coach. So that was a smart move by them. I like where Auburn stands with KJ Bolden.
Yeah, I like where Auburn stands with KJ Bolden a lot. And while we're on the subject of new acquisitions, fellas, let's look at that transfer portal conversation. And I know this is going to become a show by show kind of combo about the big board with quarterbacks right now. But I did see an interesting graphic earlier today from On3's transfer portal page about transfer portal quarterback predictions. I'm going to read these off as quickly as I possibly can. Auburn fans, shield your eyes, cover your ears. Riley Leonard, Notre Dame, that go figure. Dylan Gabriel to Oregon, we kind of saw that one coming. Will Howard to USC makes a whole lot of sense. Cam Ward to the Ohio State University. Ouch. DJ Uiagalelei seems like a shoe-in at Florida State at this point. Kyle McCord to the University of Miami, which that's actually a tremendously good fit. After Tyler Van Dyke leaves there. Will Rogers to Washington. Once again, another just fantastic fit in that Washington offense. Tyler Van Dyke heading from the U to Mississippi State, so kind of just doing a little bit of a little switch around here, a little switcheroo, 3-team trade acquisition, if you will. That also once again makes a ton of sense. And Grayson McCall to UCF. So of your hot board, most of you guys that we've been reoccurring speaking about potentially transferring to Auburn on that list, not a one of them predicted Auburn yet. Auburn's going to get somebody. If you don't get somebody on this big board, though, I'm sorry, guys. It's lateral and large. So we'll have to see, barring someone else leaving post graduation or post bowl season.
So I do not want someone to. I don't want Hugh Freeze to be in the same situation he was last offseason, where he went through a spring thinking he had his guy, and then having to rush to whoever was left in the portal after the spring. So I would appreciate it, Hugh, if you could pick up a guy before spring. Even if that, I think a player that no one's really talking about is Jordan McLeod, the JMU prospect. I've not really heard any word from him or anything saying that he is a lock for Indiana. But I definitely think he's a guy who could definitely be really good for Auburn if they were to pick him. Definitely an underrated prospect. Doesn't really get the words or doesn't get really attention thrown to him because he, did not play at a Power 5.
Hey, I didn't need to say this on Tuesday's show because the news broke since then. But Auburn could always go out and get Jeff Sims.
No, I'm surprised you'd even make a joke about that. Watching Jeff Sims yourself.
Jeff Sims was fun at Georgia Tech, dude.
Did you see him at Nebraska?
Yeah, hell yeah. We all watched those first 3 games and let him start and put him out there to die. Yeah, it was fun.
I don't think they let him out there to die. I think Jeff Sims let himself out there to die.
Nebraska was horrid. Again, per usual. So
Jeff Sims' career, he is currently. Let me get the stat line out here. 31 touchdowns to 29 interceptions.
Right. That's a good number. I like that. I like that ratio, Colin.
1-to-1.
Yeah, dude, I love it.
He also had one touchdown this past season.
To 4 interceptions?
To 6.
Oh, that's a really good one. I like that a lot. Okay.
So I'm not going to be on the Jeff Sims train anytime soon.
I'm hopping on the Jeff Sims train.
And just wrap up the football news real quick. All SEC teams by the SEC have been announced. Auburn had 3 players appear on the second team, and surprisingly, no players on the first team, and no defensive linemen on the second team. So, wow. But the players who appeared were Jarquez Hunter, Rivaldo Fairweather, and, of course, Jalen Simpson, but no iterants of Marcus Harris.
Yeah, that was really goofy, in my opinion.
Where's McPherson, too? That also doesn't make sense to me.
Was who was first team kicker? I didn't even look. Was it Reichert?
Will Reichert.
Yeah, just because he set the SEC's scoring record.
Sorry, but my first team kickers don't miss field goals.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right. You guys are setting McPherson up for the most devastating first career field goal loss of all time. It's going to come in the Iron Bowl on the road. Like,
if he makes it to the Iron Bowl without missing another one, I'll be pretty happy going into that game.
You won't be happy when it happens.
No, I won't. But
you won't be. Hey, Colin, I'm going to do an ad read, so you can pull up your notes on the Indiana Hoosiers, if that's something you're interested in. And I've got them in front of me as well.
Yeah.
And we can take a quick peek around when we come back on the other side of this ad break, and talk Auburn hoops right here on the College Hoop Podcast. But before we do so, it is the holiday season. It is time to get your Christmas shopping done. I mean, folks, seriously, get your Christmas shopping done ASAP because it's 18 days away as we're recording this, and that's a scary concept. So just a little over 2.5 weeks away from Christmas. Very excited. Best time of the year. Make sure you can go pick up your very own College Loop War Report co-branded Feelin' Loopy t-shirt. Comes in 5 different colorways. It is only $25. That's on sale at thewarreport.com. If you don't feel like typing that in the search bar, that is all right. Neither do we. You can go to you can go to the description of any of our shows, whether that be on YouTube or abroad, and just click on the little link in the description and go straight to thewarreport.com. Pick up your very own College Loop War Report co-brand Feelin' Loopy t-shirt. Once you pick up your t-shirt, make sure you use hashtag Feelin' Loopy. That's feelin' without the G on whatever platform of social media makes you happiest or whatever you use the most. And make sure you tag us in it. We'll make sure we put it up in the next stream or the next show when we record next and hit the studio. Thank you guys so much for your continual support on that front. We know that you guys are the best listeners in the world. No questions or doubts, ifs, ands, or buts about that one. And you guys are the reason we can continue to grow and continue to thrive right here at the College Hoops Podcast. So with that being said, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you're watching on the YouTube stream, and drop a comment. Let us know who you're feeling could be the best fit for Auburn should they not wind up landing any of those S-tier quarterback transfers. Certainly a lot of conversation and discourse around those. Also, we didn't ask this on Tuesday, and I'm not sure if Dylan asked this on Sunday, but who should have gotten into the college football playoff? I'm really, really curious. Do you guys think FSU got snubbed? I'm sure a lot of you guys were thrilled to see Alabama admitted into the college football playoff, as we all were. But like I said, make sure you subscribe, and ring the bell so you can stay up to date on all the latest content coming out right here at the College Hoops Podcast. If you are not watching the YouTube stream, that is okay. We love you so much anyways, and thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate your support. Make sure you give us 5 stars and thumbs up and share the show with a friend on whatever streaming platform it is that makes you happy. Give us those highest ratings, guys. The more you share the show, the more you comment on the show, the more you like and subscribe. And the more that you guys give us positive ratings on streaming platforms, the more we grows, and it helps us. It doesn't cost you guys a dime, but it means a tremendous amount to us. So thank you guys for your continual love and support. We love each one and support each one and every one of you guys right back. So without further ado, let's talk Auburn basketball right here on the College Hoops Podcast. I've been through an ad read, Colin, so I'm going to let you take a surface level look at the Indiana Hoosiers. I'll jump in with you whenever you want me to hop in.
Yeah, so Indiana Hoosiers, very respectable basketball team. I feel like we cannot underestimate that going in. And that is just more of Bruce Pearl with this non-con schedule, not playing around. But yeah, I think the big thing in this game is going to be how our front court matches up with their front court, because I would say by far and away that is their bread and butter. Their center, you'll get to know his name a lot, Khalil Ware. He's been averaging, I think, close to 20 points this season.
17 and a half.
Yeah, so he has been going nuts. Leads their team in pretty much every stat imaginable: blocks, steals, points.
Yeah, no, you're so right. Rebound.
Yeah, the whole lot. And then he has another piece with him, Malik Renew. Once again,
I'm going with Renell. But yeah, carry on.
Renell.
Yeah, definitely going.
Listen, if you say it confident, it's fine.
That's right.
But yeah, Renell. He's averaging 15 of his own. So between the two of them, it's going to be a lot of work for Janai Broom and the rest of the forwards.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I'm entirely with you there. It's all on the front court, and A, keeping Janai Broom out of foul trouble, and then B, seeing how he stacks up with another dominant big in the Big Ten for that matter. He's playing a good brand of basketball, P5 basketball. And let's not trip over the fact that Khalil Ware is going to put up 31. He's averaging 31 minutes on the floor. He's on the court the whole damn game. And there's no coming out if you don't get him into foul trouble, and that should be Auburn's objective early and often. Try to put Ware on the bench as quickly as you possibly can. But like we just mentioned, Renell coming in and playing good minutes out of the 4. 27 and a half minutes on average per contest. It's a grind to keep these guys off the court. They're going to be able to get in and move and shake and do their thing and play that Indiana Hoosier brand of basketball regardless, but you've got to limit their opportunities to do so. And it really starts, like you said, Colin, with the bigs. It starts predominantly, Janai Broom coming off of an exceptional week, which you take away and pretend like the App State game never happened, which whatever is what it is. I still have not watched film on that. Probably won't.
Don't.
Just
don't do it.
Not on my itinerary. But this group is deep. You've got 10 guys are going to play 12 plus minutes in this Indiana group, and I know that's like the overarching theme that I keep saying week in, week out, and game in, game out. But Auburn's mentality, Bruce Pearl's mentality, and I think Tom Hart summed this up pretty well earlier in the season, is that Bruce Pearl always thinks his 10 are better than your 10. Nut up. Now's the time. To prove that your 10 is better than your 10 as their 10. Because I can tell you right now, if Auburn doesn't have Janai Broom putting in work and going to war because he's in foul trouble, I'll leave it here. His replacement's not going to get the job done. And you are going to lose to Indiana. This is a very, very, very talented Indiana team that will be there in March and is going to wreak some havoc within the Big Ten and make a lot of people really miserable and spoil some seasons. So I guess how long can Janai Broom stay out of foul trouble, Dylan? I don't know.
I don't know if he can.
Not always his fault. Bigs get screwed in general, especially at the collegiate level.
Exactly. And I will say, I mean, part of this game, I can't even put fully on Janai Broom because the past couple of games, he's not had the help from Aiden Holloway, who's just in a absolute shooting slump. And just a couple of games, we've seen his points per game fall from 15 to 10 in just a couple of games. Just has not been a factor in the offense. He still finds ways to distribute the ball, but when you have a guard and like Aiden Holloway who has the same talent level and the same shoot, like the potential shooting the ball that Aiden Holloway does, and he's not shooting it like you need him to, it's tough to win games. I mean, the whole App State game was lost because Auburn couldn't get the ball in the basket. Now I know it's like the whole thing. Like you have to score more than the other team to win, anyways. Got to get more balls in the basket to win. But when Auburn's putting up more shots and has more opportunities to make shots, and they're not making these shots, that's how you lose a lot of games. And you're going to need Aiden Holloway to get right. Denver Jones, take better shots.
Can I say something kind of annoying that's going to piss people off about last week? I don't know. Maybe you start with shot selection in practice. It was bad last week. Even in the win. Even in the win. Horrendous. Just saying.
Yeah, and you're going to put a lot of trust in Chad Baker-Mazara as well. Definitely a guy who everyone loves Chad Baker-Mazara, and he's definitely going to be a huge factor in this game because outside of Janai Broom, he is one of the probably most consistent players on this team thus far throughout the season.
And by the way, Jalen Williams is playing so scared. I don't understand it. Am I the only one? Colin, have you noticed that? Is that just me?
Yeah, no. It feels like so last year was his team, and now he has just taken such a complete step back. And
But he doesn't even look like he wants the ball in his hands when he's on the floor.
No, and like he's not making like real cuts to the basket. He's not shooting great, and when he is taking shots, but it just seems like he doesn't want the ball in his hands. Period.
He's also not got that sky hook to go this season very often, and that's kind of like his shtick. That left-handed sky hook that literally no righty knows how to defend, because they don't play against other lefties that do that. I don't get it, man. He looks like he doesn't want to be there half the time. And some other stuff that I just heard around the program, just like if you didn't want to play ball, like if you didn't want to compete, why'd you come back? And it's not that he's not been putting up, quiet little numbers. It's just like need more out of you, dude. Compete or don't. You choose. But if you're gonna choose not to, don't play. Like
you're slowly ruining my chances of having a J Will to J Will to J Will connection in OKC.
Yeah, that was always just a fantasy in your head. Like
it was, but
on the blue maybe.
Well, the other two, Jalen Williams, are not going to be are not going to be playing for the blue anytime soon. They are established. But yeah, going to need guard play. Needs to be a heavy improvement from the last week.
I think it's just guard scoring. They don't turn the ball over a ton.
Yeah, true. See, Aiden Holloway, 1.3 turnovers a game, not bad.
That's going to happen from your point guard. Like
exactly, yeah.
You're going to turn the rock over.
I think something else to look at with this matchup is Indiana's starting 2 redshirt senior and a senior guard. So just looking at experience in comparison to freshman Aiden Holloway and whoever else we tried out there, Denver Jones. He's got some experience.
Need I say, make the free throws for the love of God.
Y'all remember when y'all said one game was too early for me to be freaking out about Auburn not making free throws? I do. I was right.
It's Auburn as a team is shooting 69%, which is a nice percentage. But
that makes sense now. Yeah, that answer that adds up.
But Janai Broom, if he's up there shooting 2 free throws, he's bound to miss one, 50%. Aiden Holloway, a guard, has 75. Chad Baker-Mazara, he has 87. Denver Jones is another solid one, 88. Jay Wills, 76.
Yeah, Denver Jones is really good from the stripe. Why is he not hitting shots from the perimeter after all those videos of him hitting shots from the perimeter?
How many was it he made in a row? Was that
26 or something stupid? Like, huh? Like, what? And then when you're not taking good looks, you're not. I don't know. Don't get me started on that. I don't get it.
Yeah. If I really hope this past week they have sat down and just had each person shoot like however many, like shoot free throws until you make like
For 3
5.
hours.
Yeah, just until you can make 10 in a row. You're shooting free throws. Just that way, everyone gets a chance to do it within the practice period. But with that, predictions for the game. Colin, I'll start with you. Prediction for Auburn, Indiana, for Holiday Hoopsgiving to Saturday at 1:00 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, I think Auburn's going to get back in the win column. I don't think it can be underestimated that this will be a faux home game out there in State Farm. It'll be close. I think it'll go back and forth a couple times. And I think it'll be somewhat low scoring. I'm going to say like a 68-64 Auburn.
Yeah, I like that, Colin. It will be a home game for Auburn. Auburn fans travel really well for Hoopsgiving. They go every year. Bruce Pearl seems to be really, really fond of the concept of being able to play up in Atlanta. I get it. Grow the brand. Hoosiers by like 6. 74-68. Auburn struggles from the stripe, and that's the difference. Sorry guys, I'm not manifesting. It's just I need some evidence that you A, know how to play on the road, which they've not proven to us yet, and B, can knock down shots on a routine basis against high level opponents. Because guys, respectfully to that App State team, they're not one. So I don't know. I mean, I'm struggling to find confidence here. I am.
I don't have a lot of confidence, but I have enough to pick Auburn to win. I think I'm on the same side as Colin. I think it's going to be very low scoring. I'm going to say Auburn 70, Indiana 67. Close game to the wire. For the love of God, just make shots.
Yeah, both you guys rocking with Auburn. With Auburn, I'm rocking against Auburn. You can lock in an Auburn win if you're betting. That sounds about right. That sounds like the recipe. Let's talk a little bit about Auburn women's basketball right here on the College Loop as they prepare to take on Arkansas Little Rock. Sorry, I always want to say Arkansas State, and then I forget Little Rock's a place. And I think they still play in the Sun Belt. Little Rock does, right?
They played in Ohio Valley.
Ohio Valley. Okay, cool. Let's talk a little bit here, Dylan, about Auburn women's basketball and their next test, playing I guess I almost said undefeating, which would technically be correct. A winless Little Rock team, and what the opportunity that presents for Coach Jay and company.
It offers up a great chance to kind of just see what your bench has to offer. Little Rock, not a great team, not good whatsoever, and that's kind of evident in the fact that they are 0-6. Usually, whenever you're 0-6 in anything, it kind of says you're not good. They have losses to Missouri State, like a 5-point loss to Missouri State, lost by almost 40 to Kansas State, lost by 41 to Arkansas, lost by, you get the pattern, to Alabama, Ole Miss, and then lost a semi-close one to Central Arkansas. This team is not good. Auburn back in the win column after beating Clemson and UAB back-to-back games, and Alabama A&M as well. Definitely a chance to see what your bench has to offer for Coach Jay and co. Let honesty and Sydney Shaw kind of just take over. Get Sydney Scott back feeling comfortable in the paint, and just kind of see what you got behind your starting five.
Yeah, and it's going to be about shutting down sophomore Faith Lee. Like, obviously, I like everyone else think Auburn's going to run away with this game, gentlemen. But sophomore Faith Lee, the 5'11" forward out of Monroe, Louisiana, is their highest score, averaging 12-7 a game. And This might just be a little SEC audition for her this season because, or P5 audition, because this will actually mark. And I don't know if you noticed this when you're going through, Dylan. This is the fourth time Arkansas Little Rock has played an SEC opponent in their first 7 games of the season. That sucks so bad for the Trojans. I actually genuinely hate that for them. But I mean, that's such is life, I suppose.
And none of those games were really all that close either.
Yeah, opportunity to get a lot of new faces minutes. If you're Coach Jay, I love that Auburn plays at and against Arkansas Little Rock it's the most random opponent. It is the most random opponent that they play. They have a home and home, like a semi-permanent home and home with. But I want Auburn to absolutely dominate the hell out of the boards, limit turnovers, and shoot well from the stripe. Play good fundamental basketball and learn a lot. Colin, anything to add there, or we would just about cover it?
I mean, I think you've hit it. I want to see our offense work through stuff. I want to see improvement. This game is essentially practice. This is a scrimmage.
Glorified scrimmage.
And
So
of
just
course,
playing basketball the best way we can is all I want to see.
and of course, after Little Rock, they got Alabama State and Norfolk State before they actually play a ranked opponent in Washington State.
Alabama State, Auburn's known biggest rival in women's basketball.
And of course, they have UNA before they start SEC play
In-state
on January 4th.
Oh yeah, another heated in-state rivalry. One of the biggest.
Before the SEC slate starts off with the Lady Volunteers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Anyways, that's all we've got on today's installment of the College Loop Podcast. Colin Beyersdorf, thank you so much for being here, buddy. Good to see you. Glad to have you back around. And glad that you're done with finals. One more semester left. So
yeah, it's crazy, but
I know it's flying. I know it flies by, dude. Trust me. You're preaching to the choir. Tell whatever they can find you. Love you, support you, hang out with you while they're home with family over the holidays.
yeah, if your family's driving you crazy over the holidays, just go follow my Twitter at Beyersdorf Colin. That's BEYERSDORF Colin.
Right on, dude. I'm Harrison Tarr at Harrison Tarr on the Bird app, and also at Harrison Tarr on Instagram. If you want to come hang out with me on either location, love to hear all y'all's good takes, all y'all's bad takes, all those in between. Love. No, not a fan of mediocrity. Pick one side. Have a good take or have a bad take. Stick to your guns. I'm not about the mediocrity. Thank you guys so much for your continual support. Dylan, what's our count at right now? How far off are we for subs?
2.
Wow.
2 away.
2 away on the YouTube channel. If you guys could just give us 2 little subscriptions while this after this show comes out, that mean the world to us. So we can get 700 subs right here on the YouTube channel. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, like and ring the bell. Drop a comment on this video. Talk to us about Auburn basketball, Auburn football, Auburn women's basketball, Auburn equestrian, whatever you want to talk to us about. What's your favorite holiday tradition with your family? What you're looking forward to the most? What do you ask Santa Claus for this Christmas? Does not matter to us. We want to hear about all of it. Want to hear what's going on in all of your lives so we can continue to build this community right here at the College Loop and at the 4 Podcast family. I know that we beg you guys all the time, but I promise it really, really does help the growth, and it means the world to us if you guys can do so. If you want to pick up your very own College Loop or 4 Podcast Network co-branded Feelin' T-shirt, the Feelin' Loopy T-shirt, comes in 5 different colorways. That link is in the description. Make sure you go pick up your very own from thewarport.com, or just click on the link. $25, 5 different colorways, most comfortable shirt you'll ever use. Use hashtag Feelin' Loopy, whatever you pick that up on, whatever streaming platform, not streaming platform, goodness, it is almost 1 o'clock in the morning East Coast when we're recording this. Can you tell? Whatever social media platform makes you feel the happiest, whatever you use the most, and tag us in it. We'll make sure we throw it up on our next recording stream, live stream, whatever that may look like. All of that being said, if you're listening on a platform that is not YouTube, make sure you give us 5 stars, thumbs up, whatever the highest rating is. Thank you guys so much for listening to the audio only version. I understand if you want to do that because I look at our faces all the time, and I also would not want to watch the YouTube stream all the time. You guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, getting closer to the holidays. Make sure you hug your families, tell everybody you love them. And Dylan, let's get out of here.
Of course, I'm Dylan Larck at your boy Tank on Twitter/X. Sorry, that is at YABOI. The Tank. Also have me on Instagram as well at Dylan Larck at DYLENLERCK. And of course, you have us right on the College Loop where you can follow us right here on YouTube. We are just, again, 2 mere subscribers away from 700. Still waiting to get to there so we can feed Colin. He has not eaten in quite some time. Still managing, to survive somehow.
Yeah, I've
but
lost
yeah.
some weight.
And of course, while you're here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Leave your predictions for who's going to start at quarterback next year for the Auburn Tigers. Leave your predictions for Auburn, Indiana for Holiday Hoopsgiving. Leave your predictions for Auburn Women's basketball versus Little Rock and other such things as well. Don't forget that in just a week from now, on December 15th, Auburn Gymnastics is having their first preview meet. So make sure to pack Neville for that because I'm going to be there no matter what. And of course, all of that, make sure you go check out our social medias, all at the College Loop, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, the works, Instagram as well. And again, as Tarr said, go check us out on other platforms if you want to hear the audio version of the show, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And with all of that being said, this has been the College Loop podcast.
Love you guys.